Yes, Nicole says she can hear me. Welcome to the Good Enough Woman Masterclass. I'm really happy that you're here. And please find the chat box. We've already done that with people are here. Find the chat box. Let me know where you're watching from, because it's always nice to know who you're spending time with and where the interest is coming from. So that's good. I'm Milou Hilhorst, and I am a Dutch national living in the UK. And Nicole says I'm from Alabama. That's nice. Have you been to a live training before, Nicole? Yes. Okay, that's good. I can't see your last name. Megan says I'm from Houston, Texas. I've got Michelle joining us. Hello, Michelle. Welcome. Find the chat box, Michelle, if you can, because then we can through the training we can you can ask questions and stuff or answer the questions that I ask. Right, welcome to the Good Enough Woman Masterclass. We're looking at the 3 biggest mistakes that you should avoid if you want to get rid of the never good enough feelings. And my 5-step framework to freedom. I am Milou Hilhorst. I'm a Dutch national and I live in the UK. And I am the host of the Shatter Facebook group for amazing women. And it's really nice to have you. Now, we've got a lot to cover today, so I would like to just make a start. And the first slide that you will see is to see if you're in the right place. If you're sick and tired of feeling not good enough, you don't know who you are anymore, and you want to change your life for good so that you can live it and love it to the fullest. Now, you're in the right place if you're ready to take radical responsibility for you, but you don't know where to start or what to do to create your desired life. And you're in the right place if you want to discover how the root cause is the actual biggest problem so that you can tackle that first before you start implementing sustainable changes that will give you long-term results. My promise to you is that I will deliver as much value as humanly possible in this free 60-minute masterclass. Nothing I teach today is just based on theory, and everything you'll learn has already been tested and proven to work. In return, I ask that you keep an open mind about the new information that you're going to learn today, that you treat me and other attendees with respect, and that you take plenty of notes so that you can begin to implement what you learn. Tips for watching this masterclass: if you can, get in a quiet room, turn off your phone, which I need to do. Twat. So that you can devote your full attention to this training and give this time back to yourself because you so deserve it. Right. During this training, hello, Brandy. During this masterclass, you'll learn the 3 biggest mistakes that you should avoid if you want to get rid of the everlasting not good enough feelings. And you are going to learn about my 5-step framework to freedom, from feeling unworthy and lost to actually feeling free and like you can, deal with the world. This is the exact training, this is the exact framework that I teach my clients in the Peaceful Chaos Method group coaching program. And I will tell you more about that later. Now, before we start, I would like to have you imagine something. You were faced with a challenge of securing an all expenses paid luxury family holiday. Your tickets are printed out with your names on them and they're packaged up beautifully in a box. However, that box is located at the top floor of a 100-story high hotel. Imagine that. Now, you are very excited about the prospect of your gift. But then you learn that the hotel lift is out of order, so you have to use the stairs. 100 stories. Yeah. Oh, and then you're not told the name of the hotel, only the city in which it is located in. How would you feel? Would you still be excited? Or would you feel frustrated and overwhelmed and highly annoyed, ready to give up? Now, what would you do? Would you want to figure it out? Take the challenge on? Or would you not even bother because the task at hand seems just too big, too difficult, and too overwhelming? Let me know in the chat what you would do. Would you want to figure it out, or would you not even bother? I'm waiting for something to... Brandy says figure it out. Well, good on you, Brandy. I like that. I'm one of challenges. I like that too. Nicole says, I want to figure it out, but it would be frustrating. Megan says, figure it out. I like your answers. Very good. Okay, so what if you would hear that there's actually help available? What if I told you that there is a proven system that could help you find that hotel and secure those tickets to your dream holiday? What if I told you that there's an actual proven system that could lead you not to your dream holiday, but to your dream life? Step by step, with support along the way. What would that mean to you? What if I would tell you that there is a proven system, a proven step-by-step program for you to find your voice, to embrace your worth, and to create the life that you want for you? A life in which you are happy and content and full of energy and excitement, living your purpose. What would that mean to you? Let me know in the chat. I'm curious. Because I can only guess that you're here for a reason today. What would it mean to you if this would be possible for you? If you could feel happy, content, full of energy and excitement, living your purpose, what would it mean to you? Nicole says it would mean the world to me. Brandy says everything. Right, okay. For me, before I became the empowerment life coach, Nicole says I'm tired of feeling like I do. I got you. Megan says it would mean a lot. I'm working on figuring out my purpose. There you go. Very good. Okay, thanks for sharing that. So for me, staying really, really close and true to myself was the #1 way that I learned to actually value me for who I am. And as soon as I was able to do this or got the hang of it, everything changed in my life. Okay. So stay really close and true to myself, which means think about what I want. Because I think we can all agree that life's really fast and 9 times out of 10, we're just living it for other people and not for ourselves. Correct? So this was the #1 way for me to learn to actually value myself for who I am and appreciate myself. Okay. Now, before we go any further, I should formally introduce myself. Hi, I am Malou Hilhurst, and I am an accredited empowerment life coach. And I am the creator of the Peaceful Chaos Method coaching program. I'm also a survivor. I don't like the word survivor, but I did survive a nervous breakdown and a 2-year-long burnout. I'm a single mom of 2 boys, Loki, who's nearly 6, and Cody, who's 12. And I'm an advocate for women suffering from not good enough feelings. Not good enough and lost feelings, sorry. And I basically help them to take back control over their lives and to find their voice and embrace their worth and create the life that they want and that they love for themselves, but have not been able to do that as of yet. Okay, and I do that without having them feel worried or wary about what other people are going to say or, think about their choices. And just like you all, I'm just trying, I'm a single mom of 2 boys, do shared parenting, yes, but It's still a hard job. And just like you, I'm trying to navigate a busy life the best that I can. I think we all do. We try our best. Now, I'm probably like any other woman that you know. I grew up in a small village in the Netherlands, and I had what I thought an ordinary upbringing. And my dad worked, and my mom took care of the home life and the children. And I had an authoritative parent, and I always had to do as I was told. And there was basically no space for my views, for my feelings, for my thoughts, for my emotions. There was no space for 'em. And I never understood why I felt the way I did. All I knew was that I had to do things perfectly to make sure that no one would make me feel inadequate, disliked, or not good enough even more. Because that's how I felt continuously. Okay. So this led to always demanding more of myself, doing things better than the last time I did them, and always on the ready to help others because that's how I was conditioned. I always had to be there for other people. And I also did that because that would mean that I would receive the validation that I craved so much. Okay, I needed to know that I was worthy. I needed to hear that people actually liked me and that people were appreciating me. Okay, until 10 years ago. This in the photo, you can see me 10 years ago with my now 12-year-old. So he was 2 at the time. And I remember this day very well. We had visitors all day uh, that due to the celebrating of my and my son's birthday. And it was only 6 p.m. at night, but I was absolutely shattered and exhausted. And I basically needed to have a catch up with a catch up nap from all the stressing around everything, the grocery shopping, the planning, the invitations, name it, I needed a nap to catch up from all the stress that I did in the days prior to the celebrations and on the day itself. And I was greatly struggling. I felt like a failure at life, losing myself more and more every day and frantically trying to keep up appearances, making sure that everyone thought that everything was okay, living by the rules and the expectations that I and others had of me. And I was dreading getting up in the morning. It was, having to deal with the same shit, pardon my language, but I'm a flap out. I do that. I apologize, but I don't. It's me. I had to deal with the same shit every single day, feeling unworthy all over again every single day. And I was trying to hold myself together, but failing so badly because I simply couldn't keep up. And no matter how hard I tried, I ended up breaking down in panic and tears on a regular basis, feeling like I was not good enough. And fast forward 6 months from this photo, and I ended up in a serious nervous breakdown, followed by a burnout of nearly 2 years. And I was not able to do anything. Now, my body basically shut down. My mind and body did not work anymore. Now, has anyone, let me know in the chat if you've ever felt like that before, if you're heading towards that point that you actually think, oh my, I can't take anymore. Because I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels or have felt like that. Brandy says yes. Nicole says, I feel that way right now. I'm really sorry, Nicole, to hear that. Right, okay. So let me kind of show you how it got this far for me. Okay, how did I get into this massive burnout? So in 2012, I became a mom for the first time. And I didn't change anything about my pre-mom workload. So I worked full time and all the responsibilities that I took upon me, the things I did in the house, I thought it was my job to actually take care of everything that needed doing in the house. And on top of taking care of my firstborn with minimal support or help from my partner at the time, I thought I also still had to do everything from before I became a mom because I thought that was expected of me. Now, in 2014, the basically, I had a nervous breakdown and it was followed by a severe burnout. Um, in the first 2 years after I become a mum, I lived in this constant stress and rushed state. And I was diagnosed with pre-stage of cervix cancer at that point. Um, I mean, I was 27. What we're talking about, it was very well treatable, but in my head, my always worrying mind went in over mode, in basically just didn't stop anymore. And I just broke down. And my body basically shut down. It couldn't do anything anymore. So in 2016, I finally was able to say that I recovered from my burnout. So it took me 2 years. The first year I couldn't do anything. The second year I basically needed a full year or 9 months to get back onto my 30-hour working week contract. Weekly therapy, physiotherapy, a lot of headache, willpower to recover from this burnout. And it was super tough. It was not nice. And the first year, I couldn't even take care of my son. I had to bring my son to the childminders, which was already a task on its own, because I couldn't get his shoes and coat on without breaking down in tears, because it was just too much. And it was horrible. Now, in 2018, I finally had figured out what had caused the not good enough feelings and what had caused that I had always worked 6 times as hard. There was never an end to the day because there was always something else that needed doing, and why I never stopped. And the reason why I always pleased others and always said, yes, I'll do that, or, oh yeah, no problem. It was as if everything fell into place from the moment that I understood why I did that. And it was basically how I was conditioned. I was taught in life that was the way to live it. That's how my parents always presented life to me. Do everything that you can for everyone else. Don't think about yourself because it's selfish. Don't know if that sounds familiar to anyone. But after that, after my burnout, and after I learned where it came from, I actually learned that there is so much more to life than feeling like this. And I decided that I want to give back to other women so that they could also feel free, like I do now, so that they can deal with whatever comes their way without having to put their own needs on the back burner, so that they can just be. That's what I want to give back to anyone who wants to hear it. Now, if we look at the benefits of my transformation, I basically learned how to depersonalize and not feel responsible for everyone and everything that's going on around me. And I learned to let go of the things that I have no control over. For example, how people perceive and understand me. Nothing I can do about that. And I learned how to say no to requests and demands if they aren't aligning with my plan or my desires. Now, I learned how to validate myself instead of making myself dependent on other people's validation. And I learned how to stop living up to expectations and saying yes all the time. I learned that I am worthy of having it all. And I learned that I have a choice and I have the power in understanding and positioning myself. But most importantly, I can now choose me. People either take me or they leave me. But I am not pretending to be someone else anymore so that other people will like me. And I feel alive and happy and proud, content, and able to deal with any curveball that life throws at me. And that is a massive relief. It's absolutely amazing that I can just, if I can't do anything about something, I need to let it go. I really need to do that, because otherwise I would drive myself mad. Okay. So I can now let go of nonsense and disrespect. And it's all because I now know and understand me. I trust my own judgment. I appreciate myself, and I realize that I am worthy of having it all. And I know I keep saying this, but it is true. And I am doing me. And everyone else who doesn't appreciate me or respect me can absolutely just freaking do one. Now, if we let's have a look at the three biggest mistakes that I think that you should avoid when you want to get rid of the never good enough. Okay. It's basically the first one is a really, I think I did a training a while back about uh, finding your purpose, I think. No, it wasn't that one. I can't remember. We look for a solution or a reason outside of ourselves. So when something goes wrong or you feel negative about something, you look for something else that's causing it. You look for a solution or a reason that's not in you. Yeah. The second one is you depend on other people's validation to make you feel good enough. And that's a big one because you basically do all the things you do. For example, you please others, you do everything for others, you do nice things, you're constantly giving your time, you're giving your effort, you're giving your energy, you're giving everything away, money, maybe even, in the expectation that then, they then will say thank you to you or tell you that they appreciate you, that you've done a good job, but it never comes. Does that sound familiar? Yeah, you keep on trying. Now, and the third one is we neglect our own needs. And you've probably heard this so many times already, but it is true. Because you're always strained for time. You choose to neglect your own needs because that will give you more time to do the other things. Okay? So this way you also won't hear that you are needy or selfish even, which you probably have heard before in your life. Have you? Now, if we look at the first mistake, so you're looking for a solution or a reason outside of yourself. For example, you feel sad. Something else must be causing it. Right? It can't be you. You feel annoyed? It's probably because something didn't go your way or someone didn't do what you expected. You feel resentful? It's because other people don't do what you like them to do. Or they get all the time in the world and you don't. Because they take it and you don't. Does this sound familiar? So you're basically looking for a solution or a reason. So the reasoning is outside of yourself. So you're not causing you're not causing your sadness. You're not causing your annoyance. You're not causing your resentfulness. Someone else is doing that or something else is doing that. We basically look for a reason outside of ourselves instead of addressing the actual root cause of why you don't feel good enough. Does that make sense? Now, what it looks like, if something is lacking, we have been conditioned that we should add something to make it better. Again, we look for a reason or solution outside of ourselves, which means that when you're feeling unhappy or lost, you think that if you fill that void with a new goal, with an activity, with a commitment, with something that is outside of yourself, it will make you feel better. Is anyone guilty of that? So you try new things over and over again so that you get the feeling that you're somewhat more organized and in control. And I'm really sorry that I'm going to put this here as well, but you also play the blame game. When something doesn't go your way, you blame something or someone else so that you are not the one responsible or seen as the one responsible. Okay, because you work so hard. Can't be you, right? Now, why do people make this mistake? When you keep yourself busy, this was a very, very bad one for me. When I kept myself busy, my head didn't go in overthinking mode. Okay, so the resentfulness and the not good enough feelings, they didn't take over my mind. Now, it gives you the feeling of accomplishment and that you're worthy because, you're trying. You're kind of trying to do it right. Now, you convince yourself that this must be the solution that is going to bring you more peace in your chaos, or going to bring you a better way of living. And it gives you the feeling that you're less of a failure because something else caused it, right? Now, what is the cost of continuing to make this mistake? It's basically keeping you stuck in this loop of trying and failing all over again on repeat. And only for you to feel even more not good enough when it doesn't work yet again. So the unready feelings are never ever going to just go away. I wish they did. Because you're not looking within as to why you feel the way you do. Does this sound familiar to anyone? Is anyone relating to this? Now, what happens when you stop making this mistake? Now, when you start looking inward instead of outward, right, you learn which feelings and limiting beliefs you have and that are keeping you stuck. Nicole says, I feel very much so. Thank you for your response. And when you actually find out what your feelings and limiting beliefs are, you can then change them. And this will lead to different outcomes, and it will help you to rewire your brain and bring more peace in your being. Okay? So that's why it's important to stop making that mistake. In this masterclass, I've got a couple of testimonials that I want to share with you. And this one is Ina. And Ina is a friend from mine in the Netherlands, and she has always lived for her 5 children and now ex-husband, but when at the time she was still with her ex-husband, and her ex-husband struggled greatly with mental health problems. So she was always caring for others. If it wasn't her children or grandchildren, it was for her husband. Okay, there was absolutely no time for Ina. She was conditioned to take care of others. Okay, take care of everyone, forget about herself. So she had basically become the chameleon, constantly rescuing others and kind of, I call her the chameleon because she kind of changed colors in, where she was. So when she was with her husband, she was this person. When she was at work, she was that person. When she was with her children, she was this person. She was constantly kind of molding herself into what was needed from her. When Ina found out that this mistake was one that she was making, she actually went into it and she looked within. So where did it come from? And she realized that she often reacted based upon her upbringing. So she reacted from the life rules that she had learned during her childhood, because that's how she was conditioned. Okay. Brandy says, I'm 3 weeks in the program and starting to finding my voice. You are, Brandy, and you are amazing. Thanks for sharing that. That's good. Right, so the 3 biggest mistakes to avoid when you want to get rid. Look at the second one. You're depending on other people's validation to make you feel good. This one is probably one of the biggest ones that we are so accustomed of doing because that's how we always used to do it. This is how we were brought up. So what is it? You basically have been conditioned that when other people say that you've done a good job or that they like you, that you are in fact good enough. So this means that you live your life for others, you do everything for others just to get the validation from them to make you feel good enough. Does this sound familiar to anyone? And if so, Brandy says yes. If so, is this something that you've ever realized that you do? And that this is the reason behind it? I'm curious about that because I never did. I had no clue. And when I found out, I was shocked. Now, what does it look like? Brandy says, I do now. Well, you better do. 3 weeks program. Working for it. I'm making you work for it. Right. What it looks like, you're basically a people pleaser. Everything needs to be perfect. Perfectionism is a big, massive trait. You live up to expectations. So everything that's expected of you needs to be done. You live in constant fear that you're doing it wrong or that you'll get reprimanded for lacking. Okay? You're living like a chameleon, like I just said, hiding your true self to be liked and accepted. Now, why do people make this mistake? We crave to be liked by other people. Only then we will feel good enough. We have been conditioned that if we don't look after others and make our own needs unimportant, that we're selfish and that we will get told off for that. This will make you feel, yet again, that you are unworthy. Now, what is the cost of continuing to make that mistake? It really puts you in such a vulnerable position. You will keep behaving the way you always have, pleasing others, always saying yes, living up to expectations, being the perfectionist, anticipating on what other people will say and think about what you do, think or say, or opinionated or whatever, etc. And the truth is, it's going to cost you your sanity. Because you are making yourself dependent on other people's goodwill of giving you the validation. And when it comes to it, you have absolutely no say or power in how people will act and respond to you. And you will end up having a nervous breakdown and feel even more not good enough, just like I did. Or, stay in this loop of unhappiness. Now, what happens when you stop making this mistake? When you start validating yourself, you will be able to create a sustainable supply of feeling good enough because you do that for yourself. And you will enable yourself to appreciate and love and validate you for who you are and what you do. Ultimately, it will free you of the need to get the outside supply because you'll know that you are in fact good enough. How does that sound? Now, Cynthia is another friend from the Netherlands, and she's always felt overly responsible for anything that everyone, anything and everyone around her, to the point that she hid her own persona to be validated by others, like I've just explained. And she said this about going through the program: I feel freed of the responsibility and the burdens that have kept me down and stuck for as long as I can remember. And I feel freed of the anxiety I felt because of the anxiety, I hid my real me, but not anymore. I am me, and I am so damn proud of being me. Now, when someone says this to me, that's made my world. This is the ultimate goal for me, to get that for everyone that wants to work with me. Now, if we look at the third biggest mistake, it is neglecting your own needs. Again, a very, very familiar one, probably. What is it? You're basically not prioritizing yourself. You're putting your needs and wants last on the importance list, and you forget about your own. Megan says, I have that bad. Is that neglecting your own needs, Megan? Yes. Okay. Let's have a look at this. So what does it look like? You're basically not looking after yourself. You're not taking time out to recharge, Brandy. You're always at the ready to rescue and help others. You're always making sure that everyone else is okay. And ultimately, you're making everything around you personal. Megan says, I just started putting myself first because my kids depend on me and I feel selfish. That's big. Do you know why? Do you know why you feel like that? A lot of people pleasing. Do you know where it comes from, Megan? This is just a little side read, but I'm really curious if you know, I mean, your past. Is it your upbringing? Is it how you were conditioned to live your life by the rules And being selfish was not part of that. Correct? I've got two screens here, so I'm just looking at the screen where I've got my chat. I actually had a good childhood, just recently started. Okay, so it's recently come up. Okay. That's a good thing. It's a good thing that you had a good childhood. It could be all sorts. It could be bullying. It could be comments from people. It could be taking things personally really badly. Maybe you already felt not good enough in yourself. It's got lots of courses, but in the end, it all comes down to this, okay? Because what it looks like you're not looking after yourself, you're not taking time out to recharge, you always at the ready to rescue and help others. You're always making sure that everyone else is okay, yeah? But ultimately, what that means is that you're making everything around you personal. By making yourself responsible for everything because you've been conditioned that you need to solve other people's problems and help where you can. Because then you'll be liked. Okay? And you're also feeling resentful at the same time. I don't know if you've got that as well. Towards everything and everyone because you don't get any time for yourself. However, at that same time, we forget that because we feel responsible and want to make sure everything works out, that we are our own worst enemies by making the actual choice to jump in and take care of things. Megan says a little bit, yes. All right. So, yeah, we feel resentful all of the time because we are not happy. Okay. So, other people will be the cause of that because they just take and take. We give and give. There's no balance. Correct? However, we make that choice. And regardless if it was conditioned or not, we make the choice to jump in. How often have you jumped in and taken over a job or a task or whatever, whatnot? How often have you jumped in because it could be done quicker, better, and faster, cheaper? How often have you done that? So, why do we make this mistake? This way, you don't have to feel guilty about doing what you want and need for you. Often, and my mom used to do it when I was younger. Yeah. I'm sorry about that, Megan. Right, okay. So, if you forget about yourself, you don't have to feel guilty about doing what you want and need for you. And all because you've been conditioned, conditioning comes back, you've been conditioned that it's selfish when you spend time and money on something for you. And being selfish looks bad on you. No one likes a selfish person, right? Now, what is the cost? Oh, I'm going too fast. What is the cost of continuing to make that mistake? You will never, ever be able to just be happy and content with what you have and who you are because you always feel like it's not good enough. Okay? So, what happens when you stop making that mistake? When you actually take yourself seriously, because this is what it is, yeah? We don't take ourselves seriously. So, how can we expect other people to do that? Yeah? When you take yourself seriously, you'll allow yourself to be and take time to dedicate to you. You can work on yourself and do things that are good for you. And but by respecting your own well-being, wants, and your own needs, you'll learn to validate yourself and flip your internal negative dialogues that are keeping you stuck in survival mode at this moment. And ultimately, you will feel freed of all of the things that you have to do and actually enjoy the things that you want to do. Does that sound like something that you would like? Without feeling the guilt, because I know that's a big one. Now, this is Ina again, and this is about the guilty part. She actually said after she went through the program, I no longer feel guilty when I choose me. I no longer let myself be pulled into every direction by others. And people actually now say that I look radiant and so much more relaxed. And they ask me what my secrets are, and I tell them that they need to work with Malou. And I now enjoy life and enjoy the people around me without having to worry or resent how other people will make me feel and think. Because I know now that I am good enough. Brandy says, you will love you, be comfortable in your own body. Is that something that you're, just for the others, Brandy, is that something that you're working towards now? Now, if we look at the five, yes, it's something I've gained so far. So you've already, in 3 weeks into the program, you're highlighting that you're starting to love yourself and you're being comfortable in your own skin. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I like that. Right, okay, so let's move on to the next part of this masterclass because I'm looking at the time and I'm thinking, she's I'm rambling about. Okay, so my 5-step framework to freedom. Okay. Freedom from the never good enough feelings, the worrying about the what ifs, the procrastinating, the resentment, the exhaustion, the continuous loop of rushing and stressing, your limiting thoughts and beliefs. Freedom so that you can finally live your life. 5-step framework. Now, step number 1, what is it? We create awareness. You find out where the unworthy and lost feelings come from and when they appear the most often. Now, the reason why that's important is that you gain a deeper understanding of who you are and what your thoughts, your fears, your emotions, and behaviors create in your life. Okay? So, the benefits when you start getting creating the awareness is it gives you the choice of staying in the situation that you are in as comfortable as it can be and safe as it can feel, or you get the choice that enough is enough and that you want to make a change. Okay, so by becoming aware of your habitual thinking and your habitual behaviors, you can then work towards accepting the root cause of your unworthiness and lost feelings, which means that you're enabling yourself to change things for good into positivity and curiosity. Now, why do most people not do this? It's because we were programmed to just keep going and don't waste our time thinking difficult. Okay? We haven't learned how to reflect and our own thinking patterns and habitual behaviors and everything that happens in our life. We've not learned that. Okay? So when you try and do it now, it feels weird and scary and awkward. And it probably feels like you're doing it wrong because it's so off or it hasn't got the outcome that you hoped for. And that makes you feel not good enough again, yet again. Now, testimonial of Eve. When we started working together, she was struggling with worrying about what other people were going to say or do about her choices. And it would really, really get her down. And when she was in the program, she said that she became aware that she used to respond based on her upbringing and not based on her own personal values and views. Okay. So, for example, when she did something her way and not via the rules that she was brought up with, she felt wary and anticipated a lot on the backlash that she would get from certain people. And she said, it's actually ridiculous if you think about it, because I'm a grown woman. And there's absolutely no need why I should still feel like that little girl waiting to be punished for bad behavior. That's what she did. So if we look at step number 2, it's creating understanding and acceptance. So we've done the creating the awareness. So we know that it happens. We know when it happens. We know where it comes from. Now we're moving into phase 2, basically, and we create understanding and acceptance. Because when we are more self-aware, we understand ourselves better. And then we are able to start accept the way we think, the way we act, the way we react, the way we interact, all acting. We start accepting what we are like, okay? And accepting means that you're no longer fighting the way things are. So you're basically accepting them. And then you will be able to identify changes you want to make and recognize your strengths so that you can build on them towards your perfect life, okay? This is so important because when we understand where something comes from, we will also understand that it's not our fault. This is a very, very important one. It's not our fault that we are struggling, okay? It allows us to accept things the way they are. And self-awareness is often also the first step to goal setting. So you're not just looking at what you don't want anymore or what's not going well, but you're now enabling yourself to think about what you do want. And this includes admitting when you don't have an answer to something yet, or owning up to your own mistakes. It's all part of this because you accept yourself for who you are, okay? And you understand where you come from. So the benefits is that living up to expectations and making sure everything is done perfectly is often enough the way that women live their lives before they started working with me, okay? And through understanding, they'll realize that it's okay. They're okay. It's okay to lower the bar. It's okay to just be. And it's okay to just take a moment. Brandy, can you pinch in here? Because this is the exact discussion that we had in our group coaching this week. Without going any further into the details, it's okay to just take a moment. It's okay to do that. And this will eventually lead to less time wasting, more efficient time spending, and that will ultimately give you your time back, which they can then spend on whatever you value for yourself. Brandy says, yes, I love knowing I can take that minute for me. Does it hurt anyone, Brandy? No. Okay, so you start to understand that you are more than good enough and so worthy of having all that you want, okay? And yeah, so it's not hurting anyone, but you thought that it would before, and that's why you didn't do it. Okay, good. So why do most people not do this? Why don't people go into the acceptance and understanding phase? Okay. So when you don't understand where something comes from and how your habitual thinking, acting, enacting, interacting was formed in your childhood years, it's very hard to break those ingrained habits if you do not understand where they come from. Okay. Because every time you try to lower the bar of being perfect, every time you tried to, sorry, I've lost this. Because every time you try to lower the bar of being perfect or stop pleasing others or living up to expectations and start living the way that you want, you feel and hear those nagging words of you're doing it wrong, you're not doing it good enough, and you're not enough at all over again, like you did in your childhood or whenever you got the trauma, okay? And this makes you feel guilty, uncomfortable, and awkward, so awkward, because it feels wrong, okay? You basically then stop trying to be the new you because it doesn't have the outcome straight away of what you want it to be. And it then confirms your limiting beliefs that you are not made for change and you feel yet again not good enough. But this is that loop that people get stuck in. Now, Teresa here is a testimonial. Teresa struggled feeling really unworthy when other people didn't acknowledge her for the kind person that she is. Okay, she really wanted to learn to let go of these feelings and not let other people's actions and reactions influence her in this negative way. It really hurt her feelings. So we worked on depersonalizing and letting go. Okay. And she said, only 4 weeks into the program, my head started to clear. My thoughts became so much more understanding towards myself, and I worried less and less about the what ifs. What would happen if? I now think positive, take my own needs serious first and foremost, and I'm able to let go of the worrying about things that I can't do anything about anyway. She said that she feels alive and free. How amazing is this? So Brandy says, my childhood wired my brain. I don't want that wiring anymore. I know now that I have always been enough. 3 weeks into the program, people. That's amazing. That is superb. Okay. Thank you, Brandy. Step number 3, what is it? Discovery process. So we've done the creating awareness, we've done the understanding and acceptance, then it's time to go into the discovery. Now, in this third step, you'll discover new ways and possibilities that will open up your world and mind. You'll start believing and you get excited that it is actually possible for you too. Okay. Now, why is it important? By educating and discovering about yourself, you allow yourself to understand and accept that what was normal for so long is due for a change if you want to achieve your perfect life. You now understand why things went the way they went. It's time to educate yourself on different subjects and discover how new habitual thinking, habitual behavior that you're going to evolve, how that could change the way you see, interact, and think about things. The benefits by educating and discovering, you basically get shown, it will show you that life doesn't need to be so hard as you always thought from your past conditioning. You actually are allowed to enjoy it. And why do most people not do this? Now, people do not get to this stage of educating and discovery because they stamp new things as hard and scary. Okay? They let their fears take over their mind. And I don't know if you feel familiar or can relate with this. Please let me know in the chat. They let their fears take over their mind. And if you add some of that negative self-belief that loads of people have, loads of women have, to the mix, you have someone that is convinced that it's too hard, they will never be able to do it, and they're not good enough anyway. So why try? Why try something new if you have tried it already before and it didn't give you the outcome that you wanted? Okay, so what happens is you give up and you prefer to stay in your comfortable bubble of unhappiness because that's what you know and what feels safe. It's not nice, but it does feel safe. Okay. Cynthia here said the following after the discovery phase that she went through. I've learned to let go of things that I have no control over. It's giving me more joy, and I'm now able to be present in the moment with her 3 kids. Okay, she can now enjoy them. Step number 4, not 5, 4, is execution of what you've learned. The execution phase. Okay, establishing new habits stick by executing them with all the knowledge that you've gained in the first 3 steps of the framework. So it basically follows it up. Now, why is it important? The only way that you're going to learn new habits and have them stick is to try and do them over and over and over again. Okay? This way you get different results, which will have you then reconsider and adjust your beliefs about situations that you once found really, really difficult. For example, saying no. You used to actually not be able to do that. Okay? You understand now why you couldn't, and you accept the reasons why you never were able to. Okay. You've educated yourself by now about why it is so important, and you discovered different ways of doing it, different ways of saying no. Okay. You now get to execute and try which method or way suits your vision and values, and you get to experience the different outcomes, the different feelings that come with it, the different experiences, the different worlds that open up. Okay. And doing this consistently will lead to new habits which don't stick quickly. Okay. A new habit takes at least 16 weeks to get itself formed. 16 weeks for a new habit, that's a long time. But it will actually, when you get to these new habits that will actually serve you and your purpose for the longer term, because you've done all the pre-work. So you know where it comes from, you understand it, you accept it, you discovered it. Okay? You get to do it now. Now, what are the benefits? Through execution, you realize that it's okay. It's actually okay to say no. It's okay to not get it right first time. It's okay to learn and grow and be wrong sometimes. And it's okay to just do something for you. And after every win, your brain will rewire with the beliefs that it is actually possible, like Brandy says. And you will finally learn about what you need. And in order to get what you need and want, you need to execute what you've learned. Okay. You will then slowly but surely work towards mastering the skill of how to value yourself and take yourself and your own needs seriously. Does this make sense? Now, why people don't do this? It's people do not get to this stage, okay? Because they generally don't work through the stages of awareness, understanding, and acceptance first. And again, it all comes down to this spiral that you see on this slide. You try, you want something better for you, so you try something new. But when it makes you feel uncomfortable or unsafe, or you hear or feel unworthy, you stop trying. You give up, you stop trying. And that confirms your limiting beliefs that you can't do this. And you give up and you convince yourself that you're not made for change. And you will feel yet again not good enough. Okay, so that's why people do not stick with this process. It feels awkward, uncomfortable, and it's so alien that it makes you feel even horrible, even more, not nice. Now, Teresa said after this phase, I've learned how to not take things personally anymore. It's what we worked on really hard with each other. Now, before, she'd allow other people to dump their problems and insecurities and projections onto herself, which obviously made her feel useless and not good enough. Okay. It's starting to rain here, and I'm hoping that it's not overtaking my talking. Please let me know if it is. She said, I can now depersonalize myself from what other people say. And it truly gives me so much relief and joy not having to feel responsible for other people's problems anymore. And I can now just let it go right over my head, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. How would that feel for you? What would that mean to you if you were able to do that? Because that sounds amazing to me. Right. Step 5, phase 5. What is it? It's the freedom phase. It's a 5-step framework to freedom. This is the freedom phase. Randy is not far off. She's getting there. She's going there. She's heading there. Okay. You'll be feeling freed of all of the burdens that have kept you down for so long. And you will just be able to be and do you. Now, why is it important? It's simple. It's very simple. Life is too short to live it in constant survival mode. And life is too short to live it being unhappy all the time. And life is too short to not live it the way that you want. Life is just too short. And it's time for you to take radical responsibility for your own happiness, because no one is going to do that for you, right? So what are the benefits? What are the benefits of no more pleasing others, and no more stress and exhaustion, and no more being lived by others and neglecting yourself? What are the benefits? More happiness and joy, more time and energy, and more actual living. All because you now know that you can. Okay? And it doesn't matter what other people will say or think anymore. It doesn't. Because you do you. Now, why do people not do this? It's really rarely that people get to this stage because they haven't worked through the stages of awareness, understanding, and acceptance first. They are so crucial. They are so crucial to this process. People stay stuck in their childhood conditions, okay? And they can't seem to break free from the ingrained feelings of unworthiness because they don't understand where it comes from. They don't accept those feelings. They don't accept circumstances. They just don't, okay? They go into the trying new things straight away without all that pre-work that we do, okay? Which means that they're basically jumping the gun a bit, trying the new things, but because they haven't got the knowledge that they need to have to be able to move past that, they find themselves quitting, stopping, not getting further in this process because they can't get over the past. They can't get over the conditioning. Now, and they basically keep taking responsibility for everything and everyone except for themselves. It doesn't matter how hard they try, okay? They keep going back to that, in that loop. Now, this is Mika, and Mika is a mom of a toddler and a 6-month-old baby at the time that she joined the program. And she said after the program, I honestly can't believe how much time and energy I wasted on fretting and worrying over how people were going to react or what they were going to think about me. And if I would choose to do something that I wanted to do over something that they wanted me to do, or I thought that they wanted me to do. And she said it was no wonder that I was so stressed and so exhausted because all I did was worry about the what ifs. But in the end, all these things didn't matter when I started doing things for me. And the feelings of freedom and joy, they overshadow the former feelings of dread 100 times. And she couldn't have been happier with the result. Now, if you take away one thing today, I want you to know, regardless, okay, regardless if you will come back for training, if you will stay in the group, regardless if you want to work with me, it does not matter. If you take one thing away today, I want you to know that you can, okay? I want you to know that you can feel worthy without making yourself dependent on others and their goodwill. You can, okay? And I want you to know that you can do you without worrying about what other people will think or say about you. Yeah? And I want you to know that you can create your perfect life without having to feel guilty or scared that you're running short or that you are not good enough for your loved ones or the people around you. Okay? I really need you to understand that you can. I am convinced you can do this. Now, I have developed that framework to find freedom of all of the burdens that you feel today. And I have outlined that framework for you today. So how can you apply this 5-step framework to your life? That's the big question. How can you find your voice, embrace your worth, and live a life that you desire for you? It's simple. I want you to know that you have a choice. You have a choice. You can either waste tons of time, effort, trying to figure it out all by yourself, waste so much energy as well. Or you can fast track your results with my step-by-step coaching program called the Peaceful Chaos Method. I'm not saying that you should come and work with me, but I think I think Brandy in the chat will try and convince you because she's enjoying it. Okay. The Peaceful Chaos Method is basically a coaching program that you can access from anywhere in an online content hub. So it's done for you. And you can access it as soon as you will enroll into the program. Okay. And the goal of the Peaceful Chaos Method is that you will do, it depends on what kind of membership you pick. There's memberships that you can pick. You do modules, you do action tasks that that come with the modules. You will check in with yourself. You will be able to go to group coaching sessions so that you can keep up with everything. If you have questions, you can ask them there. Okay. Because I believe that the outside world's chaos is never going to go away. It will be as much chaotic, if not more, next year, because something else will happen. But with this coaching program, you will learn basically how to make peace within your chaos. So, in other words, how to make your mind peaceful and be content and happy instead. Now, after going through the program, you will have built towards that perfect life that you desire for you. A life in which you are no longer bothered by all of the chaos in the outside world, simply because you have learned to make peace with yourself and know that you are good enough and so worthy of having all that you desire. Okay. Now, I'm going to go through a couple of slides just to give you a little bit of an overview of what's in the different phases, in the different steps in the program. First phase, awareness with Peaceful Chaos Method. We look at what your perfect life looks like. We look at the real reasons that you feel unworthy and lost, and we look at stress management, how you can apply what feels good for you, okay? Then we have phase number 2, which is the understanding and acceptance. We look at your mindset, your core beliefs, how to change them with flip thinking, your thoughts, fears, and feelings flipped, setting boundaries, and saying no intentionally. All that is to enhance your understanding and acceptance of your situation. In the third phase, you'll go into the discovery process and you'll discover how you can apply all that you've learned so far, which techniques are right for you, and you'll get excited about all the possibilities. I'm very, very much convinced about that. And then in the fourth phase, you're going to deal with challenges and overwhelm. You're going to look at time management and saying yes intentionally, and all that you've learned will fall into place by then. And in the fifth phase, you'll master the skill of not giving a flying monkey about what's going on, okay? You'll learn how to love, respect, and appreciate you. And you are going to become a role model at letting go anything that is not yours to worry about, all right? Now, today is quite exciting because I am going to offer a discount code because my youngest child is going to be 6 at the beginning of September. So there's memberships. What you get in the Peaceful Chaos Method memberships is lifelong access to the online content hub. You get live group coaching sessions. You have access to an exclusive Facebook community, and you get a journal and a planner. And all of this you can get started right now for as little as $99 a month. But then on top of that, you can have the 30% discount taken off it. So different memberships available. 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18, 24 months, okay? The terms and conditions are different for each membership that you pick. And it depends on which membership you pick and would like to have for when the group coaching is going to be, how often, how frequent. but you get access to that just as much as you would get in a shorter version of the program. All right. A little overview of what's included. You get immediate lifelong access to the content hub. So anything that gets added from the moment that you enroll, you have access to that. And it will be available as long as the program exists. You get access to live group coaching sessions, depending on which membership you pick. You can ask any questions in those sessions. It's really those group sessions. I think Brandy will be able to say something about that, because we do them weekly in the program that Brandy does, and I think they are delightful moments of the program, and they will give you all the knowledge and all the things that you've never thought about before that will make them clear to you. Now you get immediate access to the Peaceful Chaos Method exclusive Facebook group. So there's only people in this group that are actually in the program at this time. I am in there as well. If you've got questions, you can ask them. I'll try and get back to you within 24 hours. It's all there. And another bonus is that you will get the exclusive planner and the exclusive journal that you can then add to as much as you go through the program, because all the action tasks will go into the journal that you get initially. Now, the question isn't if you are going to find your voice or get results or reach the freedom that you're so much craving for. The actual question is when. When are you going to find your voice, get results, and reach the freedom? Now, Ina said that she learned to keep in mind what is important to me and what makes me feel good, what I need. I now share my boundaries, and that works really well. I feel good about that, both privately and at work. I no longer let other people make decisions on my behalf, because I have a voice. And if I feel that my boundaries are not taken seriously, I'm not holding back from saying so, because I am worthy. Before, she was not able to do that. So if people can't see that, I'm better off without them in my life. That's what Ina said after she went through the program. Brandy is now saying, I love the group chats. I learn from you and you learn from me. That's exactly how it is. It's absolutely amazing. We're there for each other. The memberships come with a 30-day guarantee. So that means that you have 30 days to try out the program, to try out the group coaching, implement everything that you can do. If you are not 100% satisfied with the program, if you can honestly say that this program does not add any value to your life, then I suggest that you simply contact me and I'll issue you with a refund. Again, in order to get the great results, like all the women you saw in here, like Brandy, you need to make sure that you're doing the work. Because obviously if you do the work and don't get the results, then that's on me and I will make it right. Okay. Now, I'm going to paste a link in the chat box, because if you think that the Peaceful Chaos Method is something that you're interested in, regardless if you want to actually enroll or not, if you want more information about it, I invite you to book a Take Back Control mentorship call with me. It's free, and you basically will see the screenshot that you see in this slide. That's where you can pick a date, pick a time in my calendar to have that conversation with me, because I am more than happy and more than interested to get to know you a little bit better, to see how I can help you, if I can help you, if I can answer any questions. So regardless if you decide to work with me or not, I'm not a hard seller. I don't do that. People either want to work with me or not. Please book a call, because I'd love to speak to you. Okay. Now, enrollment, if you think, look, I've seen enough, I've done some trainings with Malou, I like it, I think this would be perfect for me, you can go to the enrollment page straight on. Okay, do not buy anything yet, because I'm going to give you the discount code if you want to enroll. So this is the enrollment page that you see here on the screen. You can click on the link in the chat box, and then you will be able to you will be redirected to this page. And as promised, there is a celebrations discount, 30% off. It's a big discount. Any membership fee for the duration of the package will have a 30% discount. Okay, the code is Loki turns 6. So get this code. I can't copy and paste it. Loki turns 6, a 30% discount. If you would like to book a call, go to the first link. If you would like to enroll, go to the second link. Make sure you fill out this discount code. It will be valid from now on for 12 days. Okay, so that's it for today. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me in any way. I will paste my email address and message on Messenger information in the chat as well. So you've got all 4 links that are on this screen. Please do not hesitate to contact me. It's been absolutely lovely to have you today, and I hope to speak to you soon in one way or another. And for now, I'm saying bye, and thank you for coming.